You know what I was like during my glory days, do you?
Welcome back to Tapped In, the podcast where we talk about shit, all types of shit, current shit, old shit. Who knows? We just about to be talking about stuff. This week, or I guess however long it takes for us to finish it, we're talking about the Amazon Prime show Invincible. Oh, and I know you noticed that we got a name now. Yeah, we're called Tapped In now because we
Hey, tap
tap in,
tap in.
tap revenge. You feel me? So yeah, as always, we got our boy Marcus, aka the Pink Termite, aka the Iron Door. What's up, Marcus? What's good?
Hey man, you better watch your wood around me. Why I gotta be the termite, man?
the pink termite.
They just come to mind, dude. Hey, that's just how my brain works. You feel me? What's
I'm
good,
here.
man? What's going on? How you feeling?
Hey man, you know how it is. I'm a little under the weather, but you know, I'm
Damn,
out
bro.
here.
I hope you feel better, man. Take some Robitussin. I don't really know what that
I've
do,
been
but
I've
it
been
sounds like it
ta-
might
I've
help.
been taking cough drops
Oh
and
shit, yeah,
Mucinex and stuff.
that'll do it.
I'm big vax, so I'm not too worried that it's COVID or whatever because I
It
ain't been
sounds
out
like
here
you
in
need
the
a.
streets.
It sounds like you need a line, brother.
A line? Did you say a line?
Yeah.
Fuck.
If I want to get right, yeah, you're right.
Hey, I heard it does have medicinal properties, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it does, but I'm good.
I'm just started out there, man.
Hey, you
if you're
know what I
okay,
mean? This is
so
a drug podcast
if
now.
if I mean like if your doctor prescribed you like a gram of coke, like are you doing it? Like they're like, okay, this will get rid of your fucking diarrhea. Just
Do
snort this
coke.
gram of coke.
Bro, yes. I don't
I
need a
would.
doctor to tell me to do it.
I would only the doctor.
You know, I'm drug positive, man. So
They prescribe worse shit than coke.
That's very true.
Speaking of coke, up next we got our boy Alex. Hey man, Alex, you know, aka Young
AKA
Bluebird,
Snowfall,
aka
AKA
Snowfall, aka
Mm-hmm.
Lil Sound Booth.
AKA Lil Franklin Saint.
Dang. Hey, what's good,
AKA Snow
Alex?
on the Bluff.
I'm doing good. Um, excited for episode 2 and the podcast with my homies. So we here.
Hell yeah.
Hey, and we got a
This
name now,
all
so you know what that means.
Yeah, tap
we
in.
tapped in.
Tapped in.
This all I look forward to in life.
We tapped in.
Welcome to the Depression Hour with Eric.
Down bad,
This
Eric.
this is recurring. Hey, I'm not down bad. I'm very down bad. But we're not about to talk about that. That's a different podcast. You want to hear
That's a
about?
different podcast.
You want to hear about that? Just listen to Down Bad Eric by Alex Riley. You can find it on Apple Music.
And
Dropping at
MySpace.
midnight, right?
Yes.
When are we
Yeah.
dropping that? I'm telling you, bro. I
At
got
midnight, I
the
thought.
midnight.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that's when y'all were dropping y'all hit.
I don't know, man. We ain't recorded nothing yet. You
You
know,
only
we
need. Hey, they call Alex one take Drake.
dang. Hey,
Hey,
Alex, you
man.
better take care.
Hey, all right. After this, I'm gonna go record that shit for you, bro.
But the streets is waiting. Honestly, the streets
They
been waiting.
they are, and I'm gonna feed the streets.
That's what Alex
So
do.
so as y'all know, we are a work in progress podcast. Work in podcast. Nope, that didn't work. Work in progress. You know, we're still getting
Working.
better. I'm sure eventually we'll have like better equipment. Eventually, Alex gonna stop eating in the microphone.
Hey, I ate
Maybe one
earlier.
day.
I ate earlier.
Hey, he got his food early
He
because he know
oh
better now.
okay. He ate earlier. All right. Yeah, you know, I know our first episode was rough, but you know, if you're here, thanks for sticking with us. You know,
Hey, things are gonna
I'm
be
a,
rough until Pod 50 probably.
oh for sure. I would say 50 is about a good number for it to start getting better. If you
I
have
feel
any
like-
complaints, email Alex.
Don't email me shit. Don't email. I don't check my email. I do not check my email.
Well,
All right, man.
you
hit
can
him up on
email him at
LinkedIn.
alexjriley@gmail.com.
Red Ronin. Gmail.com.
Y'all
No,
really
that's-
dropping y'all
that's-
fucking emails. Yo,
It's
wow.
never been an email of mine, I don't think. It sounds like it would be, but it ain't.
Hey, he lying.
Hey, y'all doxing each other.
Hey,
Y'all
fuck
with
around and
dox
find
culture?
out.
What do y'all think about that? Dox
Nah,
culture?
man.
You
Nah.
not with it?
I'm
What,
what
what
does
if
that mean?
somebody's like an asshole?
What is that?
Doxing?
Yes.
It's basically like releasing somebody's information on the internet, like their
Oh.
address.
No, that's whack. That's
All right,
Their
so
IP
you
address
saying
and stuff.
you saying if somebody had George Zimmerman's address that it shouldn't be leaked on the internet? You on the spot, Alex.
Ooh, hot
This is
chair.
called
That's
this is called on the spot with
I feel like
Alex.
that is an extreme case. Like I'm okay with his information being leaked, but like average people like me or you, or just like normal people who didn't murder someone in such a public trial,
Uh-huh.
no, they shouldn't be having their information leaked.
What about racists?
I'm okay with that.
Like people saying the N word all up on their Snapchats and shit. I be seeing them getting like consistently doxxed on
Good.
TikTok.
I like that shit. I used to see it on Twitter. People like or Age actually would always tweet articles about people losing their jobs or shit when they did something racist. So I like seeing that type of shit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Hey man,
That's
it's not safe.
justice.
It's not safe out here for
It ain't safe.
racism.
It ain't safe. It ain't safe. It ain't safe.
Also, a daily reminder: fuck Chet Hanks once again.
Fuck Chet
Fuck your Hanks.
Hanks. I'll fight Chet Hanks. Y'all think I could whoop him?
Yes.
I don't know, man.
You think he might have hands? He's
No.
rich. He
He-
might like be able to just like go to the gym regularly.
I feel like he got dumb hands.
He might have hands.
I don't know why, but
Who y'all-
he seemed like he
He
got
might
dumb
be
hands.
right.
Are y'all taking Jake Paul or Chet Hanks?
Man,
I would
Chet
say
Hanks
Jake
for
Paul.
sure.
I would bet on Jake Paul for that one.
Okay.
I'm telling you, dumb hands, man.
I mean, he might just have like street hands, but
I'm also not convinced Jake Paul is like a real good boxer like that. I mean, I get that
I'm not saying that he's a good boxer.
he keeps knocking people out first round or whatever, but I'm not convinced that shit ain't
could be
rigged
rigged.
for
I wouldn't
one.
be-
Well,
I
he's
wouldn't be
fighting like
surprised.
ex Starbucks managers and shit. Like he's not fighting other
No,
boxers.
he fought an actual boxer this last
Yeah,
one.
I think
Ben
his
Oh,
last
did
fight.
he?
The last
Ben
fight.
Askren
Oh.
was a first round knockout, and
That is
but
fucking
also
sad.
Ben
Imagine
Askren
being
looked-
a professional boxer losing to Jake Paul.
Ben Askren looked whack. I mean, he looked whack going into it. And I'm not convinced that it's not rigged. So
He probably didn't
that's
take it
all I gotta say
seriously.
about that. Yeah, I think that too, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I
Who
wouldn't even
knows?
say it's rigged because what do you mean, like fixed? Like he was meant to lose?
I
Yeah,
can see
yeah,
that. Like he's taking
Who
a
would-
payday to lose.
But who would want?
yeah.
Yeah, he's getting money, but think
People-
about how.
Maybe people who are
He-
betting on Jake Paul might want the other person to lose so they can make more money
Well,
by him winning.
Yeah, and I mean, and he could get Jake Paul could easily pay the people he's going against
Yeah.
more
sure.
money than they'd make from the fight themselves.
Yeah.
But do y'all remember how
to be
everybody was
knocked
on
out.
Nate Robinson's neck? Do y'all want that type of scrutiny for money?
I don't
would
think
y'all
Ben
take-
Askren cared. I
I
don't
don't-
think there will be another one. I don't think there will be another Nate Robinson. I think
Yeah.
I think
don't
the
either.
streets learned their lesson there. So if the next
Yeah.
people who like
He's supposed to fight Floyd
Well,
next.
Honestly, I don't know. That's Logan
Yeah.
Paul that's supposed to fight.
Oh,
Floyd.
right.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
they all
Um,
problematic, man.
But also,
yeah, they really are.
who the fuck is Nate Robinson?
He's a basketball player.
he's a
he
basketball
is?
player. Yeah.
Yeah. He's an NBA for like, I want to say like 6 or 7 years, maybe longer than that. But
So
yeah,
he's at least a professional athlete.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he
That is
it's
fucking sad.
I mean, like basketball is different from boxing though.
Yeah, I was
Of
gonna say
course.
it's a completely different sport.
Of course. But I'm saying he was at least in shape.
Yeah. He definitely.
Yeah,
is.
but boxing shape and
Basketball
and
shape are,
basketball
like-
shape, that's different.
Yeah,
I
you
know. I'm
use,
just
like,
saying he's
different-
not just fighting like a regular like me. Let me
A regular like me,
Regular brother.
a regular brother like me.
rather a regular sucker like me.
Sucker.
You jive turkeys.
You jive turkeys. All right, man. Let's get.
Yeah, let's fucking
we here
Black
to talk
Dynamite.
about Invincible. Eric,
That fucking silence was hilarious.
you the main one fucking up, Eric.
I know. I'm trying to pull it back together. But let's hop into Invincible. Let's hop into this episode though. All right. We always start out with our ratings and our first impressions on it. Alex, what you got?
No, we
for
don't
me?
rate it at the beginning.
Not our ratings. Oh, I'm blowing it.
You're
It's all
blowing
good.
it.
I'm blowing it.
It's
We start
it's all
out with
good.
our first impressions and what?
What?
So anyway, I enjoyed this episode as well. I thought it was pretty cool that they introduced a new like superhero team, and you kind of learn that there's other teams out there as well. So that was pretty cool to see. But yeah, I mean, I like this episode. I like the gore. It seems like the dad has a lot to hide, or Omni-Man has a lot to hide. So we're obviously going to see more of that later in the show. But I mean, yeah, they're kind of like establishing the world a little bit more in this episode. I feel like because there's other superheroes, you kind of see the balance between the son and like his school life and superhero life, trying to balance that, and like his like love interests and shit like that too. Also, random. I was looking up the show earlier, and that Amber chick is voiced by the same girl.
Zazie.
Yeah,
Zazie Beetz,
from
yes,
ATL.
sir.
Yeah, so
My
I thought
boo.
that. Yeah, she's so
Not
bad. but
ATL,
yeah.
Atlanta.
Wait, Zazie
Atlanta,
Beetz
yeah,
was-
Atlanta.
I was
My
about to
bad,
say,
yeah.
wait, Zazie Beetz was in ATL.
No, Atlanta,
I
my
mean,
bad.
no.
That's my fault.
I thought
But
that
yeah.
was new.
Atlanta, the show on F. Nah, man.
Yeah.
Get out. No, you didn't, Eric. Shut up.
Damn, Marcus.
You didn't. You never. It was never. I thought that was new.
Ain't that who it was on ATL?
In ATL,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
it was
not.
Nunu.
That's not Zazie.
I know that. Damn, I was just making a
All right.
joke.
So my
about-
impression was.
Oh my god. What was your
No, go off.
impression?
Go off, man.
What was
Oh, yeah,
your
that's-
first impression, bro?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I pretty much have to say exactly what Alex said. It's progress. I think this episode was just a little slower.
Yeah, for sure.
I think at the end of the first episode, you hit that bloody crescendo, so to speak,
Mhm.
and so you're sort of still amped up off of that, and this episode's a lot slower. School life, work life balance, and then in between that you have the Flaxons coming in, and which is kind of a cool thing for an alien invasion, that they have their bodies are used to a different time, so they age rapidly, and
That was pretty cool.
that sort of thing. But I think this episode was definitely slower,
For sure.
and it definitely showed off the the all-star cast just continues to expand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you got all these people introduced in the first episode, and it's like, who else could they add? But then they got a whole handful of people with this new team.
Mm-hmm.
Seth Rogen makes his appearance as Alan the alien.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
And what's interesting about that, on the cartoon side of it, is Alan the alien. He plays a larger part in the story of Invincible. And so even though we might not see him for the rest of the season, he does play a larger part in the grander scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to seeing that, because he actually has a pretty cool background that's sort of intertwined with Mark and the Viltrumites. But then also him being played by Seth Rogen is interesting, not just because it adds to the roster of celebrities that are in the show, but also Seth Rogen is one of the main people working on a live action Invincible movie series.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah,
That would
and
be
they're both working independently, but Seth Rogen has been working on an Invincible live action, I think, for the last couple of years.
Okay.
And actually, when I first started hearing about the Amazon Invincible, I was confused because I thought that the animated show was what Seth Rogen had been working on.
Mhm.
But that's not the case. The movie and the show, two completely different things.
That's really
see
interesting.
that is interesting. And normally I would say that it doesn't sound like it would work, but after watching The Boys, I know that it can work. Like The Boys definitely
Yeah,
showed me that you can have like dark, comic-y type shit like that. Like I feel like it's really something hard to pull off in live action, but The Boys definitely did it. They did their thing on there.
yeah. The thing about The Boys, I mean, The Boys is even more of a gamble because it's dark and it just continues to be dark. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like an Invincible live action movie would make more sense, you would think, without knowing about The Boys, just because okay, Invincible balances high school life and sort of these bloody heroic encounters in a way that I feel like wouldn't be too jarring. But when you watch The Boys, it's just like The Boys is brutal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gross. Alex,
I
you
would
seen The Boys?
I have not, but I got this 30-day trial on Amazon Prime, so I'm
I
gonna
would
see
definitely
what's
say
up.
check it out. I would say the difference between like The Boys and Invincible when it comes to how well it'll fare in like live action. I feel like The Boys is very confined to like Earth and small parts of it. Like you watch Invincible, they're like one second they're in fucking wherever city they live in. Next moment they're in outer space. The next moment they're fighting somebody underground or something like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that shit's super tough. Like like now that he has his powers and shit, he's always flying. Like he's always flying somewhere
Mm-hmm.
up in the sky playing fucking catch with his dad, shit like that. Um, I think that shit. I think because Invincible has so much of that stuff, it'll be much harder to pull off.
Oh, just because you think it would have to have a larger budget?
Much larger budget, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I could see that. Yeah, easily, And it'll be interesting because it's going to be a movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like the show works so well because it's episodic and
It's a
you
cartoon.
sort of you take the time to actually feel the whole scope of the Invincible universe. And yeah, you're right, it's vast. There's
Mm-hmm.
underwater, there's space, there's different cities, there's different dimensions, as we see in the second episode with the Flaxens coming from a different direct dimension and all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Um,
sorry to interrupt you, but that's another thing. Invincible has all types of characters. Like they have a fish man, they have aliens, they have characters that
yeah,
look ridiculous. When The Boys, they all have it's all human characters.
yeah, and in movies, I feel like that's something that they usually try to avoid with some of these
Hell yeah,
superhero
they do.
movies
Mm-hmm.
because there's definitely that fine line where a superhero movie could be really kind of campy and cartoony if they add too much
CGI or costumes and makeup.
CGI and also the more obscure characters, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
a good example of this is Guardians of the Galaxy. They had like a pretty diverse cast of creatures and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, at the end of it, you see Howard the Duck, who is essentially a parody of like Daffy Duck or
Mhm.
Donald Duck, who is overtly a cartoon character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like, and it worked for Guardians because Guardians kind
It
of
did.
it had that vibe. And I think even with the new Suicide Squad, I get that same feeling where you're getting more and more of these characters in live action that are a lot more of a gamble to put on screen because they are sort of more on the cartoon side of things. You know,
What it is like when you see they're taking these images from comic books and putting them into essentially real life, and
right?
sometimes it doesn't work. It's really hard to make it not look silly, and if it's not silly, be like Suicide Squad. They can have King Shark in Suicide Squad, but they can't have King Shark in like uh the Justice
Batman
League
versus
movie
Superman.
or Batman.
Yeah,
Batman versus Superman, because it'll stand out so insanely that we'll be like, why did they put that in there? Like,
yeah.
so it's
It's
definitely
it's a balance.
yeah.
I think there are ways that they can introduce them,
Mhm.
and I think the only ways that they could are in, you know, the offshoots of more serious movies. So it's like, yeah, you have Justice League, but then, you know, it takes place in the same universe that Suicide Squad does, but, you know, Suicide Squad ends up being its own thing, you know?
And now that I think about it, you like thinking about this right now just like kind of takes me back to all the superhero movies that I've watched and how a lot of them have made weird changes that I didn't understand until now. Like, for instance, X-Men Origins Wolverine, when
Yeah.
they changed Deadpool into that silent
Oh
whatever the
yeah,
fuck it was.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
They
yeah,
Yeah.
were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is a serious movie. We can't have fucking we want
Deadpool talking
Deadpool,
shit.
but we can't have fucking that Deadpool. We can't have the
Yeah.
comic book Deadpool talking shit and breaking the fourth wall. Like, because it'll make the movie, it'll undercut the seriousness of the movie. So I
Mhm.
see
Right.
why it was still garbage, 100% bullshit. And obviously, Deadpool got his own zany little movie and shit where he fit. So
And it
they should have
works.
just went with it. Yeah, it works in the Deadpool movie, but it didn't
You
work in
know,
the go ahead,
it didn't work in
the X-Men
Wolverine
Origins.
Origins.
Hmm.
You know, it's funny. I've never seen the actual version of that movie. I had the bootleg that one of the homies got from the barbershop.
Oh my
And
god.
everybody, and this came out, this was like crazy because it wasn't even a bootleg from a movie theater.
What?
It was the first bootleg that I had seen that was the movie wasn't finished. All of the CGI hadn't finished. And
What?
so all of like a lot of the fight scenes were just like these were just like the riggings of characters or looked like mannequins being thrown around. Like
Whoa.
literally.
Whoa. You
Bro,
got
I'm
the you
surprised,
got like
Alex.
the
I'm surprised. I'm surprised
you
you
got
don't know
like
what
the
I'm talking
pop
about,
cut.
Alex. Cause I feel like everybody in North O was watching Wolverine Origins before it came out, like 2 months before it actually came out in
See,
theaters.
I
It
saw it
was
in
like it was
theaters.
out in North O.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
all right,
I
How the
yeah.
yeah, I
fuck?
definitely don't remember seeing that
How
bootleg.
do how do these motherfuckers be getting a hold of this shit? How
This
did he?
well, this one was weird because it wasn't even like it was out in theaters. It wasn't even a done movie. Like everything was acted out and shit. But
It's
it
like
was
a
like
demo almost.
pre-production. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's
was
Yeah,
my
like
point. That's my point.
yeah.
How could somebody get how could some
they would have to be
nigga
on the
coming into
set.
the barber shop in Omaha, Nebraska have that? Why would he have that?
You would have to have like know somebody that's on the set that can have access
Bruh.
to that shit.
But
Like,
you
there's
No,
no
know
not
what
even
way.
the
type of
set.
you
Not
know
even the
what type
set.
of dudes.
It must have been like circulated online or something
Oh, I mean, yeah, true that. True
because I
that.
swear everybody, at least all my homies or one or two of them had it cuz I didn't buy that shit. But someone brought this to, like, you know, I don't know when that movie came out, but like a sleepover or something. And they put that shit on and it was garbage.
Dude,
Um
that is so funny.
and so I never bothered to see it when it came out. That's just a sidebar.
That's interesting. You probably seen parts of that movie that was never like even in the movie.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But I
That's
just
really
remember
interesting.
Deadpool being super weird and like untextured.
Mhm.
There was a tank in there,
Oh
and like a jet that it was just all untextured, and it was like not even just green screen. It was just, I don't know, it was weird. But yeah, I mean, dialing this back, you know, 10 paces.
Back to Invincible.
Yeah, like an Invincible live action movie is going to be interesting. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think the
forward
animation
to
will
seeing
be
it.
the
I trust
closest
Seth
it can
Rogen.
get. Yeah. I mean, I do too, but I also think that the animated one is going to be the closest you can actually get to the comics.
Yeah.
And I think fans of the comics at least deserve that. I think we as fans that have found the comics afterwards also deserve that, because this is like, this is the real story
Yeah.
more or less. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like I was saying in the last episode, I do think it's a different dimension. Mostly because in the comics, Mark Grayson is a fan of he's either a fan of Science Dog, and in the show it's now Seance Dog, or or
That's
vice versa.
funny.
I forgot which one
It's
it is
Seance
which.
Dog in the show.
In the show, okay, so in the comic books it's Science Dog. And it's like it's the same dog that he's a fan of the comic books, but it's he's just a science dog.
One thing that I'll never get tired of is how they do comic books in comic books. They'll always like put it like a level lower than reality. So if comic books is a level lower than our reality, then comic books and a comic book would be a level lower than that reality. So it's always something ridiculous if you pay attention to like a cartoon with a cartoon where they're watching a cartoon. Like if y'all remember Ed, Edd n Eddy, like their watching TV was literally just paper fish on the screen, because it's something like,
because otherwise they'd just be watching regular TV, right?
Exactly. They'd be watching themselves or something.
That kind of reminds me of like Watchmen, because that's a superhero movie based off a comic book. But then the show, like you see like the Watchmen characters, like it's like a show that they watch like throughout the show, and it's all like exaggerated and stuff like that. So I get.
Wait, are you talking about the show?
He's talking about the live action HBO.
Oh,
the
I haven't
Watchmen
watched
HBO
it yet.
show. Oh, dude, you would love that shit.
Damn it.
You
Yeah.
really would.
I'm gonna have to
It's
watch.
so good.
Didn't they get canceled?
No, it just
I
had
think
the
it's
one
just one.
season.
Yeah, just
I
one
don't know
season,
if it's pretty much like its own story, but
Oh, fuck. I need to watch
yeah, it
that.
had the exaggerated events of the events in the Watchmen, like what happened before.
Yeah.
But what's also
that's a
interesting
trope
about
that I've
that,
always loved.
in the Watchmen comic book, there is also a comic book that's being read by like a secondary protagonist at a newsstand throughout the Watchmen comic book. So you're reading the Watchmen comic book, and then at the beginning of certain chapters, there's a character reading the Tales from the Black Freighter, which is a pirate comic book within the Watchmen series.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Seance Dog.
But yeah, so back to this episode of Invincible. What are your takes? What are your takes on it, Eric?
Did
we even introduce you?
No.
You introduced us. Did we introduce you?
No.
Okay, I got this.
It's young Eric.
Yeah, aka
T-boy from the block.
Down bad Eric, aka Hands,
Oh my God.
aka
Stop.
Mr. Invincible,
Don't call me that.
AKA the abominable snowman,
aka Anderson Paak. You know the vibes.
I don't know the vibes, y'all.
AKA Mr. Stand on bathroom sink counters.
Okay, I'll take that one. I'll for sure take that one. That's my vibe. Hey,
That's
it's
your
me.
vibe.
Y'all know the vibe. Y'all know it. It's little.
30 minutes in, yeah, this is Eric.
Y'all know who it is. It's Lil Big Daddy, aka Lil Dress Shirt,
aka Bigfoot,
Lil Laundry Basket. Y'all know who it is.
AKA Long Neck.
Oh my God.
aka Parliament.
Hey, the Parliament pedestrian.
The one and only.
But yeah, I'm chilling. I'm just,
In the flesh.
Oh my God.
10 toes down.
I'm just here, Omaha, Nebraska.
You know the motherfucking vibes.
I fucking hate you. I'm about to end this podcast right now.
No, I got some
I'm
more.
shutting this shit down.
I got some more. Well, I guess I wanted to say that I really enjoyed the scene where Mark flew out to space.
Oh my God.
And he was talking to what's his name? Alan the alien.
Yeah.
Alan the
I-
alien, yeah.
And they were like fighting. He's like, "Wait, this isn't Earth," or like he got the planet mixed
Urath.
up. I thought that,
Urath, yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. So.
That shit actually was really funny and random. And when I was watching that part, I was like, at first I thought they were about to do some things like, oh, somebody's been fighting this dude on Earth, but ain't been saying anything. Like he's just saving Earth from him. But it turned out that he was just going to the wrong. He was just at the wrong planet. But it makes me.
Yeah.
What did he say that he kept coming to Earth instead of Urath?
So he's been back before. That's why his dad knew him.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Oh, I
Ah.
see you shaved your mustache," or something to that effect. And then
He
Mark
did say that.
Yeah. And so his dad has fought him once before. But just because of what Alan is doing, I don't think Alan or Omni-Man had a conversation like Mark and Alan did.
Mhm.
Because he alludes to a galactic council that sends them to make sure that they can protect their planet, right?
Mhm.
Right. But Alan,
And that's go ahead.
that's what I'm curious about. Like he's part of some galactic council, but he doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't know him specifically. Yeah. That I was just confused about that. I was like, what's going on? Has he been there before?
It
He
sounds
has,
like
yeah.
because he
He's
said
been
he
there
made that,
once before.
Yeah,
Hmm,
he's made that comment. It's like, you don't remember me from like 3 years ago or something like that.
gotcha. And he's an alien, so he probably can't really discern what humans look like.
Or he's racist.
No, I mean I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Because he didn't recognize that he was a different person.
Yeah, but also you could say that Mark and his dad kind of look alike.
No, I can't.
You could.
I mean, I could say it, it just wouldn't be true.
He said that you shaved your mustache, so he mistook Mark for his dad.
Mark has brown eyes. Omni-Man
He
has
wasn't-
blue eyes.
He wasn't wearing his eyes weren't out in space.
What you trying to
He's
say?
got goggles on.
What you trying to get into?
What you trying to get into?
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by
What
that?
you mean by that? Play the music.
Oh my god!
Hey, we got sleepers.
Oh my god!
All I'm saying is Alan is part of the larger Invincible story.
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave
it
at
seems
that.
like it for sure. It seems like he. I'm just saying this part didn't seem random to me. It didn't seem.
Oh, definitely not.
No, it wasn't.
Nothing seems random in this show. I feel like everything has a purpose. Like,
Well, and even like the minor occurrences come back later, right?
literally,
Like in the first episode, Mark encounters the stone dude,
yeah.
and then that stone dude comes back.
Well, we
in
haven't
a
gotten
couple
there yet.
episodes.
We have-
Yeah.
Spoiler.
No, I'm just
alert.
saying that it's not a spoiler alert. He comes
You're
back.
spoiling
Everyone
it.
comes back. Mark doesn't kill anyone.
Yes, he does. He killed the old lady, or almost killed her.
No, she dead.
That's another. Oh, that's what I wanted to touch on. How, and it's hard to say realistic because obviously it's not realistic because they're fucking superheroes. But this show shows what it would be like if people had superpowers on Earth, especially like a brand new superhero trying to save a person. He wouldn't a brand new superhero on Earth who had no experience with how fast you need to fly with somebody in your arms as to not injure them, or how to land properly with somebody in your arms as
Without
to not
breaking their
break their
leg.
fucking spine.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I was surprised she didn't just like rip out of her flesh or something because he
Well,
like was blasted and landed hard as hell.
she had her bones sticking out. You see that part?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she was fucked up. I'm
It was
just saying.
gross.
I feel like I'm just saying it should have been worse. And it was very that threw me. That really threw me off because I was like, whoa, I've never seen. I haven't seen anything like that. I mean, obviously, except for on The Boys, but this was like really. I feel like it meant something. It was deliberate.
Yeah, his powers definitely, you kind of get the full reality of his powers, you know.
Mhm.
Even in the first episode, there was a part where he was flying through, he like jumped up to start flying, and he like bumps into a building and like takes out a corner of the building. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
Like, and it's just like a little bump, but I mean, you know, the power of him, you know, bumping into the building does a little damage.
Mhm.
And I think, you know, these aren't the sort of invulnerable superheroes that you sort of get used to,
Right.
where, you know, they get tired, they get worn out, they run out of plays, as we saw with what's it called, Teen Force, I think.
Team.
Teen Team, yeah. You know, where you see them, they just, you know, they can't stack up to the Flaxen invasion, and
Yeah.
are saved just because the Flaxens start getting old and shit.
And they also don't cop out where other like superhero cartoons would be like, oh yeah, we two indestructible beings fought here, but you know, nobody died. I know giant buildings were toppled and cars were flipped over with people in
Mhm.
them, but nobody died. Like there's no
Oh
blood,
yeah,
there's nothing. They're like,
yeah.
no, motherfuckers is dying out here.
It was getting vaporated.
Literally
Yeah,
vaporized.
they really do a good job of establishing it as a pretty realistic world for a superhero to live in. So I agree.
Yeah.
It would suck, man. I couldn't live in a big city.
Hell no.
Hell
Like,
no.
Knowing that like these superheroes and these supervillains could show up and just start blasting motherfuckers.
or getting constantly
Man,
invaded by fucking
nowhere.
aliens out of nowhere. Like, I
I
don't
would
want to
be
live like
living
that.
in fear constantly. If I lived in a world with superheroes, I would constantly be living in fear.
And everybody's like so nonchalant about it. They just go to school and like business as usual. It's so
I'd be
fucking
like,
weird.
no, a fucking person just toppled over the Empire State Building. I said Empire State Building, not the entire state building. Just
Hey, either one though. I mean,
either one. The
Hey,
entire Empire
If
State
the
Building.
shoe fits,
if the shoot fits.
I don't like what I don't like what you're making me uncomfortable.
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 But yeah, you know, I think this is a good episode all in all, you know, in
agree.
establishing this continued world, the inclusion of extraterrestrial beings, and sort of actually getting, you know, the teen team, because what you talked about last week was the powers of the superheroes that
The
got
variety.
murked off at the end.
Mhm.
And we were talking about how they were all really familiar. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And then in the team,
The
they're
teen team is
they're much
is like
different.
they're pretty new. You know, like you have Adam Eve,
Yeah.
who doesn't explain her powers that much just yet, but you know has
Yeah.
some sort of force field abilities
I
and
still don't understand them shits.
yeah. And then you have Rexplode, who is sort of like a Gambit character who can
Yeah.
you know make bombs out of inanimate objects and duplicate
Duplicate?
and robot. This is like, you know, the variation of powers that I like, you know what I mean? These
Yeah.
are all like new heroes for me and
Agreed.
for Invincible, you know.
I just like when movies or shows or animes come up with like powers that I've never, you know, really heard of. Like, and I think anime that does not a great job of it, but they do it, is My Hero Academia. Do
I
either
feel
of
like
y'all
they
watch
do a
that?
good job. Yeah.
They do a good job with the variety and with them being, you know, powers that I've never seen, but some of them be kind of fucking stupid. Like, not gonna front.
Yeah.
Tape elbows? No.
Or
Grape head?
what's his name though?
Oh, Mineta?
No, is that the grape dude's head? The
Yeah.
grape head dude's name?
Yeah. Yeah, that
His-
power is weird. That power makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, especially because if he takes enough of them off, he starts
bleeding.
bleeding.
That's weird. That's
Right.
weird. So so it's a character on My Hero Academia who like grows like these purple grape looking things on his head, and he can take them off and throw them, and they'll stick to things. But if he takes too many off and throw them, he'll start to bleed.
Interesting.
He yeah, but also there's another hero on there, and her power is literally just frog. You know, like
Yeah,
when they're
she's a
introducing
frog.
everyone's powers, she's just a frog.
Frog.
Yeah, but you know, that's the sort of shit that
I-
anime can get to. Like
I like
anime is
Froppy.
like, yeah, me too. But anime in general and mangas, sometimes they're just super light, and My Hero Academia starts off super light, you know, and it has all
Yeah.
these I mean, hella variation of power, but they're all what's the Gene dude's name?
Oh, best
Like there's
Genius.
just a superhero that has jeans up to his past his nose.
Yeah. His
You know,
mask
that's-
is like denim, but it's
He-
like a
he's
pair
all,
of jeans.
he's all denim, yeah. But that's just
I
you
hate
know
that dude. I hate the way that dude looks.
that dude's tight, man.
Fit 0 out of 10.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I definitely I like how they have like create different powers. Like, I'm not gonna keep naming Power Hero Academia. We talking about
we don't
Invincible
need to.
here.
We talking about Invincible. Let's get back to it.
Let's get back to Invincible. Our tangents
one of the
be
interesting
wild.
one of the interesting things one of the interesting things about the show that differs from the comic books is the inclusion of the Hellboy's character. You know the Hellboy
Ooh.
character, the demon.
Yeah,
I
I
forgot
can't
what
think of his name. Darkblood.
it's like. Damien Darkblood or something
Damien
like
Darkblood. That dude's cool as
Yeah.
fuck.
he's cool and he has like a very small role in the comics. Like I think he's just in one issue, but not to the extent that he is in here, where he's actively
On the case.
investigating what happened to the Guardians. And in this episode, at the end of it, he
Yeah.
even alludes
Yeah.
to the fact that it must be the only one that survived the encounter.
Mm-hmm.
And he alludes to Omni-Man being the killer of the Guardians, and Cecil shoots him down. And Cecil says, you know, you can't. That better not leave this room. That's a dumbass accusation. But even in hearing that, he's still like, he decides to have the Omni-Man and his family watched over by his organization.
I thought it was interesting. Was Cecil the guy who, towards the end of the episode, he went to the house and he made a hint or a comment saying something like, "Oh, the person who did this isn't as smart as they think they are." Was that Cecil or is that someone else? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I'm not sure. Cecil's the guy with the scars over his mouth.
I think that was him because he went to the house with like the family and the brother and the mom, and he made that comment.
Yeah.
I think they're like kind of asking me about it. But yeah.
Oh yeah, he says we don't know who did this, but they're not as smart as you think they are, and
exactly
that will do worse to them than they did to whatever.
Yeah,
something
right.
along those lines.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and Omni-Man kind of gave that like that weird look, like like so.
I like to add in that I kind of fuck with Cecil.
yeah,
He's
me
he's
too.
cool.
More than I thought. You know,
Yeah, same. I fucks with Cecil.
Do you fuck with him based off of this episode, or does he like? Because I'm indifferent on him right now, but does he improve? I guess as a character, like going forward.
he's around more.
Okay.
You know, and yeah, without getting too much into it, you just start to see the full scope of his organization.
Okay. Okay.
And it's a lot like, I don't know, kind of like Shield and Marvel, where they're a government body that has to deal with these sort of super heroic incursions.
He's a real what's that man's name? The eye patch, black Samuel Jackson.
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury type.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why I kind of automatically liked him, because I figured that like what the scale of his role was going to be based on like Nick Fury. Like
Yeah.
they're the type that's like, look, we're going to do anything to keep Earth safe, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And they be like getting their hands dirty. Like the fact that he deals with Damien Darkblood, I thought that was cool because I obviously people don't just be going around like fucking with demons, threatening to send him back to hell.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this dude's a fucking badass. I fucks with him.
Yeah, he's sort of fearless in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's an interesting character for sure.
Speaking of which, I really fucked with that line. What are you, scared of him? Aren't you an atheist?
Oh, he said that to somebody?
Yeah, he said that to his
Yeah.
like number 2 guy.
That's
He
funny.
was like, "Aren't you an atheist?"
Yeah, what
All
an
right.
interesting thing, you know, like
Yeah.
this whole universe. You got
Yeah, right.
mer people, you got demons, you got aliens, several different varieties of aliens.
There's no
robots. No limit.
Seemingly no limit, and I fucks with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're getting close, so we should start closing up.
Yeah, we should
Alex,
start wrap it up then.
Yeah, let's wrap it up then. Alex, what would you rate this episode?
So Marcus kind of touched on this earlier when he mentioned that this episode was a little bit slower than the first one.
Yeah.
But they also established a lot more of like the world going forward. So I'd probably give this one like a 7, maybe 7.5. Like it wasn't. I definitely fuck with the first episode more, but this one was still pretty good, and I'm still interested in the show.
So what's your official?
Oh, 7.5. I guess 7 if I have to pick one.
Gotcha.
Which one?
Man,
7.5.
7.
9
Or 7.5.
Hey, I'm gonna put you down for 7. Eric, what's your prognosis?
So I have to actually, firstly, I'd like to change my rating from the last episode.
What?
And say, yeah, I have to, and you'll see why,
pod, bro.
You'll see why. So I have to change my rating from the last episode because the first episode, I have to basically compare the rest of the episodes to that episode. So if I say episode 2 was like an 8, I would have to say that it's as good as the first episode. But also, I kind of want to rate this episode as an 8. So I'm going to rate the last episode as a 9.5. And this episode, I would say, was an 8.
What made you give it an 8?
Because it didn't have as much like it didn't have like the surprise factor that like really had me like instantly hooked onto the show. I am hooked obviously, but it doesn't have like a big like thing, like, you know, something to be like really excited about, like most first or last episodes would be. But I actually really dug this episode because it established more of the world. I feel like the world's already big from the first episode, but they were just like, let me go ahead and expand it. You know, what's up with outer space? We're outer space. I think the introduction of alternate dimensions was dope. I love alternate dimensions. It gives us limited possibilities. I always fucks with that. And I like Teen Team. I thought they were cool. I like their introduction to the fight where Mark was like struggling and they just came out and was like, you know, fucking shit up a little bit. But overall, I would say that episode was like an 8 for me. What about you, Marcus? Or as the French call you, Marquis?
That's what they call me.
Marquis.
I give the episode a 7. Just a 7. You know, it's interesting, but it's not as interesting. It's just a 7. You know, you kind of go back into the whole of it being sort of a comic book superhero world with not a whole lot that sets it apart from other ones that you've seen before, other than the fact that there's this, secretly diabolical Superman at the center of it.
Mhm.
I think the character progression was interesting, and yeah, teen team, dope. That going to high school shit, but also going to high school and the popular girl is a superhero that you can vent to because she knows all about. We get to see a little bit of what could possibly be a budding romance or whatever.
Yeah.
For Mark. And I think what prevents this from being like a lower, like a 6 or a 6 or a 5 for me is I really liked when Omni-Man went into the other dimension.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah, and I think also, not that we talked about it, I think that his line when he first went in there was important because
Very important.
he says this isn't your
noticed that.
he says that this isn't your world to conquer, and then he proceeds to like just destroy them.
I think that was really telling,
and is pretty brutal. Yeah, and it's very telling because if it's not their world to conquer, then whose world is it to conquer?
Right. I feel like they kind of gave themselves away with that line. Like,
yeah,
not saying I know anything more than anybody would know, but I feel like they really kind of gave themselves away with that. Well, I mean, obviously there's a underlying like hidden message, not message, but like a hidden agenda with Omni-Man. But
right,
I feel like
exactly.
that was kind of giving it away.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what it gives it away to a certain extent, but then at the same time, he goes home and he has dinner and eats with his mom or his wife and his son. So you get the idea that he has other motives, but you also know that he cares about his family, right?
Yeah.
And so that is sort of even more confusing because he's not just a dude that wants to conquer the planet, and in fact he hasn't. So you don't necessarily know exactly what's even going on in his head, other than the fact that he holds this reservation that Earth isn't for these people to conquer. So it's interesting. It answers a question, but it also it makes you ask more questions.
Right. And also that was another iteration of them hinting at the rage of Viltrumites.
Yeah. Well, and not just that, because he was angry. But also Mark in one of the first encounters or the second encounter with the Flaxen, I think
when he was beating the fuck out of
where
him.
he starts, and then Rexplode was like, "Damn," that was terrifying. Yeah. And then because he has that point where he's just like getting covered, and then he's like, "Ah," and he starts fucking him up.
Speaking of Rexplode, and then shouts out to Jason Mantzoukas.
Yeah, what's his name on Parks and Rec? I don't know, man. He's hilarious.
I don't know.
In everything that he does.
Hell yeah. Have you ever watched The Good Place?
Is he in The Good Place?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Who is he in The Good Place?
He plays the what would you call it? The being in The Good Place that gives everybody whatever they want. The woman. I can't think of her name. It's been a minute since I watched it.
In the actual Good Place or in the demon world?
The show, The Good Place. There's 2 versions of her. They say her name and she pops up. She.
Her. I don't know the computer.
I can't think of her name.
Though.
Yeah, the computer.
He's basically the computer.
Yeah, she makes him, so he's basically what she is, just like a much dumber version, and it's fucking hilarious.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, and that's like her love interest, right?
Yeah.
And he goes away and he comes back. I forgot that he was in that. He's in everything else. He's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's in Parks and Rec.
Ooh, he's fucking hilarious.
That dude's hilarious.
Big Mouth.
Big Mouth. That
Shout out Big Mouth. I love that show.
show's so out of pocket.
That's an understatement. But yeah,
Man.
let's
Davon,
close
you got
this
anything
out.
to add?
Oh my god!
Hey yo, don't forget about our boy Shotty.
Hey,
Don't forget about our boy
introducing Davon, aka Shotty.
Young Shotty.
He might be
Yeah,
in one of these episodes. He might
he-
just guest star in one of the episodes or something.
No,
He
he about
might
to
just
pop for
show
the
up.
he about to pop for the next hour by himself.
Hey, what if he just popped up in the fucking podcast, just like at the end?
He's got
that
the
shit
link.
Would be fucking funny.
I would not be mad.
That'd be hilarious. What's up with him though? Are we? Is he gonna be joining us?
Not today, but probably one of these days down the line, he'll probably just pop in. He loves the show. He's the one I call after I watch an episode because he always watches it too.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I see him tweet about it and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I can see it. I see it. We just
Yeah.
gotta get him on here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's all we got for y'all today. We'll catch y'all next time on Tapped In. Tap in.
Is it tapped in or tap in?
It's tapped in, but I'm telling them to tap in. Tap in to tapped in.
All right.
Bet.
All right. That's the pod.
All right then.
All right,
All right.